Welcome to this YouTube channel. In this video we are going to talk about the top 10 places on Earth no human has been to. So before starting this video, like this video, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for future updates. Exploration and going to new lands has always been a priority for mankind, since their arrival on the planet. As a result, the vast majority of our globe has been not only found, but also populated. Despite this, there are still a number of regions on the planet, where human influence has yet to be felt. The majority of these locations are simply too unsafe for humans to visit. There are deep marine trenches with much too much pressure to survive, sites where volcanoes are continually erupting, and even places with weather that is far too severe to bear. It just goes to show that Mother Nature still reigns supreme. Below are 10 locations on our globe that have yet to be explored by humans due to the enormous hazards they represent to us or simply because they are inaccessible. Number 10. The Star Mountains of Papua New Guinea. This huge mountain range in Papua New Guinea spreads across a big chunk of the small Indonesian country and has remained mostly unexplored by humans. With an annual rainfall of more than 10,000 millimeters, it is currently regarded as one of the wettest places on the planet. There isn't a single site in this mountain range that can hold a weather station due to the heavy rain. In 1959, a Dutch colonial government servant named Jan Sneap sought to explore and chart the region. Despite having 2 helicopters, the expedition was forced to rely solely on personnel after one of the planes crashed. Number 9. North Sentinel Island, Bay of Bengal. This small island is between the southern shores of India and Thailand in the Bay of Bengal, making it incredibly secluded. Its residents, known as Sentinelese, are the only humans that have ever lived on the island and have long refused to welcome contemporary visitors. Anyone who comes to the island to explore or study the environment is met with hostility almost immediately. After their anchor broke free, 2 fishermen drifted towards the island in 2006, and when they arrived, both of them were slain as soon as the Sentinelese people noticed them approaching the shore. As a result, the island is completely disconnected from the rest of the contemporary world and remains largely unexplored. Number 8. Vale do Javari, Brazil. In recent decades, the globe has seen less and fewer people who manage to remain disconnected from modern technology and civilization, but the Vale do Javari is home to 14 different indigenous ethnic tribes. The Brazilian government has prevented outsiders from entering the area, which is home to approximately 3,000 indigenous people from 14 distinct tribes, in order to preserve the original people and their customs. This 32,990 square mile territory is larger than Austria, making it the ideal location for remaining isolated from contemporary culture and relatively undiscovered by the rest of the globe. Number 7. Namibia Desert, Namibia. This desert, which spans for more than 1,200 miles along the Atlantic shores of Angola, Namibia, and South Africa, is one of the driest regions on the planet. This desert receives barely 2 millimeters of water in some areas throughout the year, making it nearly hard for anything to thrive, and the few living organisms that do survive must do it with the least amount of water possible. This desert is largely made up of massive sand seas that stretch for hundreds of miles near the coasts. Any living being left or lost in the vicinity would never be able to survive until rescued. There are indigenous people who have managed to survive in the less arid places, but the Namib is mostly home to invertebrates like scorpions and other small animals that can survive without water. Number 6. Sakha Republic, Russia. This region of Russia is the world's 8th largest, and the vast bulk of it is above the Arctic Circle, making it essentially a frozen desert. The Sakha Republic is only slightly smaller than India, with a total area of 1,190,555 square miles. The difference is that the climate is so harsh that only about 1 million people live there. There would be more than an entire square mile between each individual if the individuals who lived in this exceedingly bleak section of the planet were evenly distributed around the land. During the winter, the average temperature in the area is roughly -46 degrees Fahrenheit, and it is home to the Verkhoyansk Range, the Northern Hemisphere's coldest region. Much of this vast area of the world has remained completely undiscovered, and unspoiled by civilization due to the intense cold and frigid weather. Number 5. Chingy de Bemaraha National Park, Madagascar. This national park is centered around 2 enormous geological features called Great Chingy and Little Chingy, which are located on the very western edge of Madagascar, an island off the coast of southern Africa. These rock formations are plateaus that have had deep ruts bored into them by groundwater, rendering them completely impassable for transport or walking. When translated, the word Chingy means where one cannot walk barefoot, which is the ideal moniker for this extraordinarily unusual part of the planet. The park was made unexplorable due to the enormous region in which these formations are located, and the fact that crossing the jagged plateaus is impossible. Number 4. Yucatan Snotes, Mexico. Snotes are natural pits and sinkholes found on the Yucatan Peninsula, which is located in southern Mexico and just north of Belize. When the rock beneath the ground begins to dissolve and break away, enormous gaps and holes appear in the ground, exposing the groundwater beneath. The rock that falls into the water causes the existing rock to dissolve even more, expanding the area and forming gigantic natural pits in the ground. Exploring these tunnels is considerably more perilous than the payoff of learning more about them is worth, especially when the entrances are difficult to discover, let alone enter. These caves, despite their natural beauty, are extremely dangerous for both humans and animals. Number 3. Gankhar, Bhutan. The massive snowy peak of Gankhar rises 24,836 feet into the air on the Bhutan-China border, making it the world's tallest mountain that has yet to be climbed by humans. Since 1922, this gigantic mountain has never been precisely measured until recently, and the first crew to attempt to estimate its height was unable to find it. Between 1985 and 1986, 4 different teams attempted to climb the mountain, but all 4 failed due to the hazardous weather. In 1994, climbing higher than 19,685 feet was made absolutely illegal out of respect for local spiritual beliefs. Climbing on the peak was completely forbidden in 2003, following a previous height restriction. The true geography of the mountain is still debated today due to the few people who have been able to climb, let alone map, the entire mountain. Number 2. Mariana Trench, Pacific Ocean. The Mariana Trench is located in the western Pacific Ocean, just east of the Philippines, and is the deepest region of our planet's seas. This 1,500-mile-long crescent-shaped gash in the Earth's crust reaches a depth of 36,000 feet in a valley known as Challenger Deep. This ditch is so deep that even if you plopped Mount Everest into it, the mountain's peak would still be a mile below the surface. Xenophyophores, which are single-celled organisms that depend on the minerals in the water, are the only species that can survive the pressure of water this deep. Because the Mariana Trench is one of the most inaccessible places on the world for humans, we may never know how deep it actually is or if some unknown species has made it their home. Number 1. Kamchatka, Russia. Russia is home to one of the world's largest and coldest regions, so it's only natural that it's also home to some of the planet's most spectacular volcanic activity. The vast volcano belt on the Kamchatka Peninsula has 160 different volcanoes, 29 of which are presently active, the highest of which is Klyuchevskaya Sopka, which stands at 15,584 feet tall. Exploration is clearly tough in an area with so much volcanic activity, but the fact that so much of the land has been formed by thousands of years of volcanic rock makes the task considerably more complex. All 10 of these areas serve as a clear reminder that the planet Earth existed long before humanity, and that some places are simply better left alone. Beautiful and unique settings like these should be able to remain in their natural states, unaffected by modern society, because our home would be a far more dull place to live if we didn't have magnificent natural treasures. What do you think about this video? Do let us know down in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video and want to hear from us again, be sure to hit that subscribe button before you go.